Hello there everyone, Ashnflash here, and welcome on into a early LEGO Super Mario Series 2 character pack feel guide. And this is actually sent to me early by LEGO to do a review and other videos for. So we're going to do a feel guide, and we're going to go through each of the characters. There's 10 characters to pick through, and if you get a box that's unopened, there's actually 2 complete series inside. The other thing that I want to mention with this is there's actually a review, and if you want to see my thoughts on these, you can check them out. But we're just going to go through, and I'm going to tell you what pieces to feel for inside each of the bags, and some of them are going to be a lot easier than others, I'd say. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So the first character that we're going to actually be looking at here is the poison mushroom, and we're going in order of the checklist, and this is probably the easiest one that you'll have searching for because it's got this giant mushroom piece that's very easy to feel for. There's nothing else quite like that in the entire series. That's definitely what I'd say to feel for, just because that is so huge. And if you didn't know how these work, they're actually, if I can pop this off here, they're actually hollow, so you could really feel that inside of the bag. Next, we're looking at the Bone Goomba, and to do this, there's a couple of things that I'd say. I would say you go for these little flame pieces, simply because no other character here, I'm looking at the bag just to make sure, and the ones in front of me, none of them have these flames. The reason I say go for that is because all these pieces here, minus the bottom here, these 2 tiles, are actually also in the paratrooper, the parachute Goomba, sorry. Because all these pieces up here are actually in the parachute Goomba, with the exception of these 2. The other thing that I would say, if you're going to feel for the Goomba, you could definitely feel for these, because no other enemy except for the 2 Goombas actually have these little slope pieces. But to make sure that it's this, feel for the flame, as well as these 2 bricks, because that's not included in the other Goomba. Here's Ninji. Again, I think that this series might be a little more harder to feel for, because I feel like some of the shapes and sizes and pieces being used are the same in other ones. For this one, I would say that you need to feel for this little plant piece. No other character in the series has a plant piece like that. And just be careful with this, that you're not like getting like some of the spikes and stuff confused by that. Simply because I'm looking at the series and 3 other characters have this, so you can't go by that. You could go by this as well, these little shapes. These are only in the Shy Guy one, so you just got to be careful with what you're feeling for. But then the feet are different between this and the Fly Guy, sorry, so it is a little bit easier to spot the difference between that. But yeah, this series, I'm looking at it, it's gonna be hard to explain. So here's Thwimp. And for them, I would say go for these pieces here. These 1x4s. No other character in the series has these 1x4 bricks. So this is a 1x4 brick, and then this is a 1x4 masonry brick. As well as then you've got all these little spikes. The most spikes that are included for another character, I believe, are 3 of them for the spiny Cheep Cheep. So if you're feeling all of these, what is this? We've got 12 of them. If you're feeling 12 plus an extra 13 spikes, then you know that it's Thwimp. Here is the Hucket Crab, and this one I would definitely say, again, I'm looking and it's hard because this plant is in another set as well, but some of the pieces here are exclusive with these slope pieces here for the little rock build. I'd say go for those. But besides that, you could also feel for this piece inside that might be a little bit difficult to do, but this little piece that the claw actually attaches to, you could definitely feel for. But besides that, yeah, this is a tough one. This is definitely a tough one. I would just say you need to feel for the difference between these 2. Go for the plant piece, but like look at all of the pieces here in the parachute Goomba. There's a lot of different ones, so that's what I would say to go for. It's a little more difficult this series. All right, here's Fly Guy. And he is the only one in the series to actually have these long feet. So that is what I would say to feel for him. As well as he's got the propeller, and the only one with this large dish piece here for the face. As well as he's got these 2 bricks here that are transparent. You could also go for those, but he's just got so many of those new pieces as well. If you haven't seen what those look like, they're introduced in him 3 different times in 3 colors. these new pieces. That's all one piece. So he's actually got 3 of them. One of them being in dark brown, medium nougat, and then the red that you just saw. So there's a couple different things that you could feel for him here, just to make sure. There's a lot for him that you could definitely notice the difference. Here's the para-beetle, another easy one to feel for. We've also got wings, and the only other one that comes with wings is the spiny cheep cheep. But besides all of that, the easiest one is this brand new shell piece that you could feel for. No other character in this series actually has a shell. So yeah, and also just make sure that you don't get confused when you're feeling the bags. I just realized with series 1, like they might be thrown into there and you're just not paying attention because the packaging is so similar. And I'm thinking like you might be feeling for another character from the first series with shells. So just, that might sound dumb, but I'm sure that at some point that might happen. You're just carelessly like feeling through and you're not paying attention. All right, here's the parachute Goomba. And there's a couple things. Actually, I just said before the grass piece that's exclusive. It's not. It's actually there in white, so I got to go back and edit that out. But yeah, be careful with the grass piece there. It is in white, as well as here the plants. So you got to feel for the difference. You can definitely feel all the pieces for the Goomba, but to make sure that it's actually the parachute Goomba, you can see here that it's got this dish, and no other character in the series has this dish. So you could definitely feel that. And there's just so many pieces to make the Goomba, as well as this parachute build. And here is the Foo. And for this, I would recommend feeling for this little hinge and this piece here. What that'll do is you can feel the difference, and you'll know that it's one of 2. It's either this or the spiny cheep cheep. Now, to feel the difference between these 2, it's pretty simple. This one doesn't have anything spiky, that one does. There's a lot of round pieces here to make this cloud build, as well as for the cactus. Like you could feel these arch pieces, that would be a good giveaway as well. But yeah, I think these cloud pieces is what I would personally go for. You'd really feel a lot of these inside of the bag. And here's the spiny cheep cheep. And again, a couple of different things that you'd feel for, but that other characters have. So it's kind of hard to explain, and actually it's easier to say than do, I'd say. But there are these little claw pieces, I'd say, the 1x2 there's with the hand sticking out. Go for that. That's a good giveaway. Those are pretty big pieces. But the wings, again, they're only used for the para-beetle, and you could really feel the difference of what's inside because there's no shell piece here for that. As well as you got some of these plant pieces, the spikes. There's not as many spikes that are included in here than for Thwimp, as well as the star piece. It's the only one with the star that might be a little hard to feel for inside the bag. You might get that confused with some other things, but the hinge and everything could really confirm by feeling up all these pieces that this is actually the spiny cheep cheep. Well, there you have it, everyone. That is my official guide of the Lego Super Mario Character Series 2 blind bag. And again, let me know down below in the comment section which one are you trying to feel for. I know that these have been popping up in stores before January 1st anyway, so I figured it's important to get this video out sooner rather than later if you are trying to go out and get a specific character, and maybe you're new to feeling for characters in bags and all that. And even I know I was reading through some of the comment section on my last field guide that some employees are just already marking the characters for who they are and feeling them so that customers don't have to feel them. So there's a couple of I don't know what stores those are that are doing that, so that might be a lot easier to just see if they've done that, specifically Lego stores post January 1st. But I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Again, thank you so much to Lego for sending this to me early to do the review as well as this field guide for. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next one.